Good morning, everyone. Well, snow is starting to push into Wisconsin early this morning, and it's gradually going to be filling in across the state as we go through the day. So let's time it out for you. Starting 8 a.m. this morning, most of us still dry, and we'll have a dry morning commute, but I do have to mention the snow shower activity starting to push into the most western part of the state. Jump ahead to noon, and now we're talking about mainly light to moderate snow shower activity around La Crosse, Chippewa Falls, maybe starting to push into the Wausau and Rhinelander area. And at this point, I'll also start to mention some flurry activity for the rest of the state. See those tiny little blue dots trying to show up around Madison and Kenosha. Far from the main event, though, but we'll mention some flurry activity beginning around lunchtime for the majority of the state. But again, we're kind of focused in on those darker shades of blue, the more widespread area. That's where most of the accumulation is going to be occurring. Here we are at 4 o'clock, and notice how it's still mainly focused across the northwestern half of the state. The good news today for everyone, while this snow is coming down, or in especially the southern part of the state, not so much snow, there's not going to be much wind today. These are cold temperatures, but not too much of a wind chill factor to worry about. Gusts around 15 miles per hour, no matter where you are, that's going to be it. And notice cold air already starting to push into the northern part of the state. Look at Chippewa Falls at 4 o'clock this afternoon, around 9 degrees, with that snow coming down, holding down temperatures as well. Meanwhile, we're talking about as warm as about 28 in the Kenosha area. So, all right, now let's get into the evening hours. And I do think the intensity is going to start to pick up as well. Well, for most of the day, across the northwestern half of the state, it's mainly going to be light to moderate snow. I do think heavy snow is going to start to push in once we get into the evening hours. And notice how the activity really starting to fill in. We're not talking about flurries anymore, but legitimate snow. It's just going to be a period where it is snowing across the state, and at times, yes, heavy snow. So let's jump ahead a little bit more, and honestly, it's looking like the peak of the activity is going to be during the overnight hours. And I look at midnight, especially focusing on those darker shades of blue where the snow is really going to be coming down. And kind of a wet snow in the southern part of the state, but a dry, fluffy snow where those temperatures are colder up to the north. So now let's jump ahead to the Thursday morning commute, and notice how it is still looking messy across the state. We're still going to be dealing with pockets of heavy snow, but starting to back off in the northwestern half of the state. But this is going to be the big surge of cold air, so look for temperatures to really tumble. But early tomorrow morning, still not much wind. Notice we're still talking about only gusts around 15 miles per hour at 7 a.m. Tomorrow morning, but that's going to be changing as we go through the day tomorrow. So now we're looking at 11 a.m. And by this point, I don't think there's going to be much in the way of heavy snow left, but still a lot of light to moderate snow. And now look how temperatures are tumbling at 11 a.m. Thursday. Look at the difference in temperatures. 32 in Kenosha, but now just 9 degrees in Madison. So we're talking about temperatures coming down really quick during the morning and afternoon tomorrow. Look how that temperature drops in Kenosha. Now we are at 3 o'clock, and now it's 13 in Kenosha. But notice even less activity. Now we're going to be transitioning by the afternoon tomorrow, just scattered light snow shower activity, especially in the eastern part of the state. But by the time we get to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we'll call it windy at this point, gusts around 30 miles per hour. So now we're talking about a wind chill factor, and it's going to be getting worse. Here we are at 7 o'clock in the evening, and look how most of us, with the exception of the most eastern part of the state, now seeing temperatures already below zero. But now we're just talking about isolated snow shower activity. And by the time we get to early Friday morning, I'm going to leave in the chance for some leftover flurries. Again, best chance in the eastern part of the state through the morning hours on Friday. But I think by Friday afternoon, everyone is dry. So it does look like the snow is going to move out a little bit faster than what it was looking like yesterday. So that's going to cut back on the snow totals a little bit, but we're still looking at some pretty significant snow. And even if there's no snow coming down, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, with all the snow on the ground, and at this point, pretty light, fluffy snow, we're talking about blowing snow early Friday morning that will lower visibility, and it'll almost seem like it's snowing even though no new snow is actually coming down, but blowing snow across the state early Friday morning for much of the day on Friday. And we've got to talk about the feels like temperatures, because look at our actual temperatures. These are the actual temperatures, ranging in most places from around -5 to -10. But because wind gusts across the state are going to be around 40 miles per hour, 7 a.m. Friday morning, look what it's going to be feeling like 7 a.m. Friday morning. We're talking about the wind chill -30 to -35. feeling absolutely terrible. Obviously, the best place is going to be just to be inside. But if you have to venture out Friday morning, absolutely layer up, hats and gloves. Do not leave any skin exposed, because with wind chills this low, we're talking about frostbite occurring in just 20 to 15 minutes. So that's why you don't want to leave any exposed skin. And outdoor pets, I gotta mention, let them come inside or make sure they have adequate shelter and extra blankets so they can at least get out of the wind and avoid the worst of these wind chills. All right, finally, this brings us to snow totals. And models coming into better agreement, and now we're able to hone in on some of the bullseyes for where heavier snow is expected. Now, notice the most common snow total on this map. So what are most of us in the state going to see? It's looking like 3 to 5 inches. Notice Kenosha, Janesville, Madison, La Crosse, Wausau. I think that 3 to 5 inch range is going to be the most common. If we had to pick a most common snow total, I'd say around 4 inches. But notice some bullseyes. I think in the southwestern corner of the state where you have the potential for 5 to 7 inches. And I'm going to mention even just north of Madison, places like Baraboo, Portage, maybe Beaver Dam, 4 to 6 inches. One of the higher totals may be in and around Green Bay, 7 to 9 inches possible there. Chippewa Falls looks like 4 to 6 inches. And for Rhinelander, we're looking at 5 to 7 inches.